Enjoy this Tinkercade lesson where you'll learn how to use a simple Scratch program to create a sprite drum set. This video and a web browser is all you need to get started with Scratch to code and make your own sprite drum set. So let's push play and get started. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is go to the Scratch homepage. This is where you'll find other people's projects, but also some different ideas and things that you can explore. And you're going to find at the top of the page this toolbar here. We're going to select the Create tab. This brings us to a blank project file that we can edit and build our drum set in. So once we get here, it's a blank page with a cat in the center, and this is the default page. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually select a place for our drum set to be. Now, since we're going to be using some different sprites, I think that we're going to pick out 4 different dinosaurs and use those dinosaurs as things to play in the drum set. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to delete this sprite, and we're going to go to the backdrops. And you can see that once this is highlighted, we can select a backdrop. Right now we just have a blank backdrop, so there's nothing there. And we can actually select from some presets, different backdrops in different places. And we're going to want to find something that's outdoors, that is similar to nature, kind of Jurassic in a way potentially. So I like this one right here. It's actually just titled Jurassic, and so this is our dinosaur drum set here. So what we're going to want to do is add the dinosaurs now. So we've got, say, about 4 different sounds we want to create, and so we're going to put 4 different dinosaurs in. Now we know how to change the backdrop, but how do you add a sprite? It's the same thing. Down at the bottom here, there's a Choose a Sprite button, and you can just click this and select from a bunch of different presets. And so we're going to find in the animals section, there's some dinosaurs here. So there's dinosaur 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 of them here that are all in a similar art style, and they're definitely made to be used in the same project. So what we're going to do is go through each of these dinosaurs and just add them one by one to the project. All right, so we've got our 4 dinosaurs in the center of the backdrop here, except they all look, well, they're all kind of jumbled together and in different places. And so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of move them around a little bit and put them in the places that you might normally find them. So, whereas you might find this guy kind of chomping down on some leaves or some vegetation, this is the guy who perhaps, maybe he's over standing by the volcano, looking out this way. And this guy's just kind of running on the ground. Of course, this dinosaur is flying. And now we've got kind of a funny way to lay out our drum set by laying all these different dinosaurs out in what would have been their natural habitats. And so now that we have the dinosaurs out, we have the sprites selected, we can actually go in here and start coding this drum set. The first thing that we're going to want to do is select the first dinosaur, and you can see what sprite you have selected in the top right corner. What we're going to do is we're going to create an event for when we click the dinosaur. So we want this game to be interactive, or we want this drum set to be interactive. So it's going to come from clicking the dinosaurs. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the Events tab on this code window here. So there are a bunch of different types of code blocks, and the events blocks allow us to track when people are clicking in the window or pressing buttons or clicking on sprites and things like that, and actually run code after those events happen. So it's a good way to keep track of what's going on between the computer and the person who's playing the game. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go, and you can see one of these events is called When This Sprite Clicked. This is a very useful event that will run code whenever we click the sprite that it's under. So we see we have this green dinosaur here, and when we click it, you can see the flag and the stop sign twitch a little bit, and that just indicates that it's looking for some code. And so we've coded this to look for when the sprite is clicked, and then whatever we put after this, it'll actually run when we click that sprite. And so that's exactly what we want for our drum set. So now what we got to do is go find a way to play a drum sound whenever this one is pressed. And once we get one of these dinosaurs coded to make a noise, we can very easily go through the rest of them and actually add different drum noises. So we're just going to focus on this first dinosaur for now and go to the Sounds tab. Now it has a popping noise that we don't necessarily want, so we're gonna go ahead and delete that. That's not a very cool drum noise. We're gonna go down here and select a new sound, and there's already a percussion tab meant for us here. So we've got all kinds of percussion sounds. I'm just gonna go with some basics. We're gonna find, say, for example, this is the really large and long neck dinosaur. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna find maybe something that would reach for a cymbal or a some kind of brass, maybe a hi-hat or something like that. So we're gonna click the hi-hat, and then we can see that the hi-hat is underneath the dinosaur 1 sound. And so what we can do is go back to the code, and we can select we can select sound, and we can say start sound hi-hat. Just click that right there. And so because we have the hi-hat sound underneath this dinosaur, and because the code says start sound hi-hat, when we click the sprite, it'll actually run that sound. And so this is the same principle we're going to apply to all the other dinosaurs to get them to make those same exact sounds. And so if I go, say, in through dinosaur 2, I'll find a sound that fits it, like a kick drum. So maybe go down here to percussion, that'll help me find it. And we're going to go to kick drum. And then go to dinosaur 3, delete this. We're going to add a sound here. And we haven't added it in the code yet, but we're just choosing the rest of our sounds. So I think we should choose a cymbal. And then the last dinosaur, this can be a something kind of funny because it's a T-Rex, obviously, but maybe we can do something kind of funny and unexpected for what a T-Rex would sound like, just to make it really, really interesting and new. So maybe what's funny? I like that. That is not the sound you expect a T-Rex to make, but it is something that'll make you laugh when you hear it. So now what we need to do is that we have now that we have the sound selected, we need to go back to the first dinosaur and take a look at this code example where it asks when the sprite is clicked, we're going to start this sound. There's something you can do in Scratch where you can actually code things in separate windows and then copy them over. So take this code block, and if you just drag it over the other sprites, you'll see this blue background happen on each of them, and that means that they're actually ready to receive your snippet of code. You're actually going to copy it over between 2 different sprites. So what I'm going to do is just drag this on top of dinosaur 2, drag this on top of dinosaur 3, and drag this on top of dinosaur 4. And so once I have that in place, if we go and take a look at each of these dinosaurs, they will have an option to start sound hi-hat, but they don't actually have the hi-hat sound. If you remember, those are each one has a different noise. So we're going to actually go through them and take the code example and just update what sound they're going to make whenever you click it. And if we go ahead and give it a test, and each of them make funny drum noises, and that's exactly what we wanted to do. So this drum set works as it is, although we might want to add something to help us get started playing the music a little bit more. So we're going to add a background drum line that will just keep looping over and over again to help us stay on time. And so what we need to do is actually go back to the backdrops tab that we had before to select our prehistoric backdrop. And we're going to add the same kind of thing that we added for each of the sprites, which is an event block, except this event block is not going to be a click because everywhere is the backdrop, and we want everywhere to play the background music when we start the game. A good tool for this is the green flag. The green flag serves as kind of a start button for all Scratch projects. So we're going to pull the when green flag clicked out of this event block. And this is under the stage or backdrops tab. And so once we go here, we're going to go back to the sound, and we're going to find that play sound until done block right above the start sound. This is because we want to play the entire background music before we loop it over again. And so we're going to play this until done. And speaking of background music, we actually need to choose which music we're going to play. Under the percussion tab again, there is a satellite here, and this is going to be used as a fiddle. So we're going to click this, go back to our code, and select the drum satellite. When we click the green flag, you can hear this one. It doesn't go over and over again. So if we tried to play it, it doesn't really give us much of a chance to get our grip. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to keep this looping over and over again using a different kind of code block called a control block. And under the control tab, you can find a bunch of funny looking blocks with different shapes than we've seen before, but the one we want to look for is forever. This is called a loop, and that's because when you put code inside of it, like a sandwich, it loops over whatever it's containing. So whatever this thing goes around, it will actually loop all the way down and then back up to the very top again for the entire time this code is running, forever, until we stop it. It'll actually loop this over and over again. So now when we click the green flag, save that over and over again, allowing us